Welcome to Art with Mrs. Cap, where we are going on a journey through the world of art and the many histories and cultures that influence it. Whether you're a kid or a kid at heart, wanting to learn more about the art world, this is the podcast for you. So join us as we journey through art with Mrs. Cap. Welcome to today's episode of Art with Mrs. Cap. We're going to be looking at pop art today. And specifically, we're going to be looking at a work of art that is probably quintessential with the phrase pop art. When we think of American pop art, this is often the image that comes to mind. So we're going to be looking at the Campbell's soup cans. They're sometimes referred to as 32 Campbell's soup cans. Either title works. And this is a work of art that was produced about 1961 through 1962. So it was actually over a several month span that the artist did this work, starting in November and ending in either March or April. The artist is Andy Warhol, and Andy Warhol is considered to be the founder, father, one of the key artists of the pop art movement. So this work of art consists of about 32 canvases, and they each measure 20 inches in height to about 16 inches in width, and each consisting of a painting of a Campbell's soup can. Now, this is where they differ. Each painting represents one of the varieties of canned soup that the company, Campbell's, offered during that time. So they look like they're identical, but if you look closely, they're each a different type of soup that Campbell's soup offered at the time this work was completed. So, the thing about pop art that was so different from traditional art, and of course, as we get into the 20th century especially, we start seeing all these changes that happen with art, and this is one of those changes. You go from, wanting to create these creative and fantasy-like paintings or paintings that, depicted imagery of landscapes and things like that. And now you have this artist, Andy Warhol, who comes on the scene, and he's using screen printing, the screen printing process, and using imagery from popular culture to adopt into the art world and create the pop art movement. So a little bit of background about Warhol. He actually came from a commercial illustrator background before he embarked on, being a painter and artist in the traditional sense of the term. But his background is commercial illustration. So that really tells us a lot about what influenced the way he saw things, the way he approached art. And then, of course, he learned this new style for him through silk printing that revolutionized how he approached art. He would previously use wet ink and transfer it onto another piece of paper to reproduce a drawing on, more than one thing. And then someone introduced him to silk screen printing and that screen printing process. And that's what he really, adopted. And we see him produce works like the Campbell's soup cans. We see Elizabeth Taylor. You see Marilyn Monroe. All of those works are very well known, very reproduced for dorm room decor and all of that kind of stuff. So, and this style of art and everything just really took a step away from traditional art. So So, Campbell Soup cans, 1962 is the official year we're going to put on that for when it was created and produced. The medium is a synthetic polymer paint on canvas. And of course, it's 32 canvases. Each of them are 20 by 16 inches. And today, this body of work is housed in the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. So that's a quick introduction to pop art and the revolution of that, and Warhol specifically as an artist. I hope you enjoyed this episode and us taking a little introduction into the world of pop art, which became famous in the 60s and really still today is famous. I mean, we look at all kinds of artists today and so forth that really adopted this approach to art and utilizing commercialization and all of those things to create works that were relatable and captured the American spirit of the time. So we will see you next time on Art with Mrs. Cap. Have a wonderful day. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Be sure to subscribe and check out more episodes as we travel through the world of art and art history to have a better understanding of our own ties to the culture and history of humanity.